Two senior U.S. senators, Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal, have introduced the Sanctioning Russia Act of 2025, which proposes up to 500% tariffs on imports from countries like India, China, and Brazil that continue buying Russian oil and gas. The bill is backed by President Donald Trump, who's also threatening 100% secondary tariffs if Russia doesn't enter peace talks within 50 days. In today's episode, we're diving into one of the most explosive geopolitical moves of the year, the Russia Sanction Act of 2025, with threats of 500% tariffs. Hello, and welcome to Unscripted Affairs.
And these sanctions will cripple his economy. They will be bone-crushing to a nation that is basically, as one of our colleagues once said, a gas station with nuclear arms.
Russia's continued offensive in Ukraine is testing the patience of NATO and Western powers, prompting a dramatic escalation in pressure tactics. As the war intensifies and reports suggest Putin may be pushing to capture all of Ukraine, the U.S. has shifted its posture, reviving Biden-era weapons policies by approving long-range missile deliveries and expanding Ukraine's strike capabilities inside Russian territory. In a bold economic counteroffensive, the U.S. Congress, backed by President Trump, has proposed a 500% tariff on countries like India, China, and Brazil that continue to buy Russian oil. The intent is clear: cut off Russia's biggest buyers and squeeze its war chest. This move places India in a strategic bind, heavily reliant on discounted Russian crude for energy stability, yet now at risk of losing billions through tariff penalties and seeing vital export sectors like pharma and textiles caught in the crossfire. NATO officials are bluntly urging these nations to make the call to Putin or face the fallout. Indian diplomacy is now in overdrive, with Jaishankar lobbying Washington to protect India's energy autonomy while defending its purchases as stabilizing for global markets. This isn't just about oil. It's about sovereignty, alliances, and the high-stakes chessboard of geopolitics.
500% tariffs on anybody who buys his oil or gas or petrochemicals. 500% tariff on India, on China, which buys 70% of those Russian products, and anybody else who buys them.
If passed, the U.S. Sanctioning Russia Act of 2025 could become a turning point in global economics and diplomacy. The bill proposes a massive 500% tariff on countries like India, China, and Brazil that continue buying Russian oil, aiming to cut off Moscow's financial lifeline and force President Putin to the negotiating table. But there's another possibility: a united pushback from these populous and economically powerful nations. If India, China, and Brazil decide to resist the bill collectively, they could use platforms like BRICS to shift trade away from the US dollar and toward their own currencies. This could trigger a wave of de-dollarization, weakening the dollar's dominance in global markets. For the US, such retaliation could backfire, hurting its own economy, disrupting trade flows, and undermining its financial clout. India, for instance, stands at a crossroads, balancing its energy needs, diplomatic ties, and economic exposure. With the global balance of power in flux, this bill is more than a sanction. It's a test of alliances, autonomy, and whether the West can still enforce its rules in a multipolar world. We'll keep bringing you the latest updates as this story unfolds. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and keep watching Unscripted Affairs.